Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your bi-weekly Warhammer/Wargaming podcast, where we talk all things around the hobby. We're back this week for some a lot of things. Actually, we've got a lot of reveals actually to catch up on. We're gonna have some hobby updates, and we're gonna look to the second half of 2025 and what our predictions for releases are going to be. But as always, I am one of your hosts, Wargaming Luke, and I'm joined by our local psyker, aka Simon the Hobby Waffle, and we've got, of course, Ben bringing back the Benergy, aka 90% Geek. Welcome back, guys. How are we doing?
Good. I think Simon's going to have an unfair advantage on the predictions front, given that he's basically the Mystic Meg.
Oh yeah, Mystic Meg. His alter ego.
You've not got anything written down this time. Feel the Benny or...
No, I couldn't come up with anything funny tonight.
Oh, Ben,
yeah, I couldn't think of anything either, I thought, to be honest.
Next time we do one of these prediction podcast episodes, you need to have like a scroll ready. Just drop a scroll. Just be like, I've prepared.
Here's what's coming for the old world. Just lift up a giant chest and open it up and
unleash the predictions. No, I love it.
Shoot. Bless you.
But no, we always look forward to this episode. We always have a fun chat with what's to come. So we're looking forward to having that chat later on. But there is plenty to talk about, as I say. If you are new to joining us, guys, of course, as always, make sure you are subscribed to us or following us and listening to us over on Spotify. And of course, join us in the Discord channel, link in the description for that one, and I'll remember to post it in the comments this week. Join us for the chat in between episodes, and let us know what your predictions are for the second half of 2025, or maybe your wish list, hey, for what you'd like to see. And of course, you can leave comments down below for that as well. And also, just one thing off the top, actually, that will be coming up probably in the next week or so. And I'll get the lads to share it around as well. So make sure to follow us on usually Blue Sky or Instagram nowadays. We're going to do a... because this is episode 48, we're going to do for episode 50 a prize giveaway. And it's going to be bigger and better this time. We did like a Kill Team or Warcry Warband last time, which I think was for when we started the podcast. So for 50 episodes, I'm going to give everybody away, and the channel's giving away a combat patrol or spearhead. So we're leveling up this time of your choosing. So if you win, you'll get to make your choice. So make sure to keep an eye on all of our socials on Blue Sky and Instagram, I think primarily is what it'll be. Follow us there, and you'll see what the rules for entry are. And yeah, you'll have your chance to win one of those. What's up, Ben?
Temptation to make up a second account that's just me with a huge fake mustache.
I was wondering what he was scheming there. He's giggling to himself.
Like a fake beard glued on over the top of my real beard.
Well, like a very Bretonian beard and mustache is what I was thinking, picturing.
It's like that Simpsons episode where the guy goes into Moorestown and he's like, hello, I can't remember what his name was. And Homer walks in afterwards after they beat him up thinking it is Homer.
Oh, yeah.
No. But yes, for sure. Look forward to our 50th episode. Keep an eye out for that in the next week. I'm sure we'll plan a couple of other things for that episode as well. That should be good fun.
Get some awesome guests on.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to look forward to that. But what we're going to do this week, we'll go straight into a couple of hobby updates we each have, rattle through that into some reveals. Ben, I've got yours up first this week. What have you been up to, bud?
I have continued. In fact, I've finished my Lord of the Rings painting challenge. So this has been my self-imposed challenge to paint 30 models over the course of 30 nights. I think in the end it actually ended up as being 32 nights because there were a couple of nights when I just did not manage to get stuff painted. And I'm just going to keep talking while I wait for Luke's thing to load.
Oh, is it still loading on yours, is it?
Hey, it's loaded. Right, well,
it's okay,
loaded and flown past. Okay. Yeah, so this is the final one that I painted. I finished off. I've been offering people a choice as to what I paint each day, and the final choice was between Sam and Bill the Pony, or Sam and his potatoes with a sleeping Mr. Frodo, and that's the one that won out. So that's what I finished off with. I really enjoyed painting this little kind of diorama. I've had this, I think, probably about 22 years, just sat in a box waiting to get done. There we go. Yeah, I'm really chuffed how they came out.
No, they look great.
The detail of the faces on these, it's really kind of still first scale of them as well is really cool.
I was going to say, yeah,
so,
for sure.
I had a little bit of fun just kind of playing around with some basing stuff as well that I'd learned whilst I was doing my Beastmen's. So they've got a few different kind of basing textures on there to kind of make it look like they are in the wilds. So that was the final miniature I painted. I'm going to do a video of all kind of 30 and what I learned about that. This was number 29. It was Gandalf the Grey doing, "You shall not pass." One of my favourite Gandalf model. I thought this was the Khazad-dûm one because that's obviously the pose, but actually this is from the Breaking of the Fellowship. So this isn't the one that originally came out in the Khazad-dûm box. It's the resculpt, as it were. I think it's actually really cool. It's really better. And again, I'm really chuffed with how he came out. So that's been kind of what's been going on my painting side of things. And
I love the blue Ben before you move on the bottom of the sword and on the rope.
The hilt on the glamdring and the sword belt.
Really nice looking blue, that.
Well, again, I've got the kind of the arms and armor book that Weta Workshop put out, and it's got a lot of stuff like kind of, war gear photos and so forth, and it helpfully showed Glamdring complete with kind of the scabbard and the sword belt, and it was interesting to note that, it is actually a dark blue. Perhaps not as obvious when you're looking at Sir Ian McKellen wandering around with it, but that is actually how they've kind of designed it.
It's a nice glow to it, though, really nicely. So I like it.
Yeah, and I'm really chuffed. Even that little thing like the gem, just getting the gem to look like it is glowing slightly in the end of his staff.
Oh, for sure. No, that is cool, actually. I missed that, actually, at the top. Yeah, that looks really good. Well done. Nice one. I've got a picture Ben for your game if you wanted to talk about that.
Go for it, yeah.
I assume that's what you were going to go into. Or...
Well, I was going to say, I enjoyed doing the Lord of the Rings challenge so much, so the next thing, I'm doing the same hand pose here that I was doing.
I couldn't resist putting this picture of her.
I was going to say, somebody needs to superimpose a piano on that and then some funny piano tune.
I enjoyed doing the Lord of the Rings challenge so much that I'm going to do another one for July, which is going to be specialist games. So it's going to be Blood Bowl, Necromunda, Battlefleet Gothic, Mordheim, Epic, all that kind of stuff. Cursed City, a whole bunch of kind of unpainted specialist games models I've got. I'm going to be throwing open the options to people to paint, to choose what I paint in that regard. So if you don't follow me already on Blue Sky, make sure you go and do that, because then you can vote for that. I did also, as you can see, get a game in. It was a week ago Wednesday, which was against my friend Michael. This is in Mike's gaming room. And we played 1,500 points, Chaos versus High Elves. And it was interesting. We played it using the campaign rules from the 6th edition Fantasy Rulebook, which work perfectly with the old world. In terms of we didn't need to change anything. Because there's a lot of, I suppose, the same kind of 6th edition DNA in the old world. We just used it. We used the rules to create armies, and it worked brilliantly. Awesome. And actually, Michael was so inspired, he's got away and made a little website for us to kind of log our games on, and we can kind of hopefully then track how the armies. We're going to make a few other armies because we've got lots of old world models. We're going to make a few other armies using the same campaign rules and just kind of let them progress. Almost a bit like Crusade, I suppose. Let them kind of progress and grow and see how they develop. But this was an interesting game insofar as it was really much a game of surprises. Things like the Manticore and fighting the Prince of the Dragon was not a surprise. It did not go well for the Chaos Sorcerer on the Manticore. But equally, surprises like the Dragon and a whole bunch of other stuff charging into the Chaos Knights and just bouncing off the Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights go, yes, and we're Chaos Knights, chosen Chaos Knights in Chaos armor on steeds. Have at thee! And it was really, really good fun. It ended up quite close, but a victory for Chaos.
Oh, I see. What were you using, Ben? I don't know if you said. I missed it.
I was using my Chaos. So I've got my Warriors of Chaos army that I originally built for Age of Sigmar and then converted everything over on square basis. So it's all the newer kind of Age of Sigmar style Chaos stuff, but based on squares.
On the squares, yeah. What, like all
the... I've actually based it specifically on the correct size basis for Old World, whereas a lot of the rest of my armies are all kind of based for 5th and 6th edition, and I use kind of converter bases and movement trays and stuff. This one is specifically based on 30mm bases and stuff like that to be the right size.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time with that. You have to keep us updated on how your tracking of that goes with your online.
Well, I say what I might suggest is if it works out really well, then maybe Michael can share the website on the Discord, and anybody else who wants to try and make an army using the campaign rules and play some games can log their armies on there as well. and
That sounds
we can
good.
track how the different armies are doing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to this match play book coming out as well, with all these different scenarios as well for
Yes,
Old World. So
definitely.
that's gonna be good to see. Nice. That's awesome. And as Ben said, make sure to follow him on Blue Sky and join our Discord
If you
to
want
keep
to come and
track of
vote on
his,
what I'm painting.
yeah, on what he's doing, because that is quite good fun when he does that each day. To be able to get involved with that. Right then. I've
What
got
about you, Luke? What have you been up to?
yeah, a couple of bits. Not as prolific as my previous 2-month update that I did last time.
Oh, here's
So
like 3 armies that I've done.
yeah. In my usual speed
He
painting
painted more last
updates.
month than I did all year.
yeah. Yeah, very prolific couple of months for me. I have got one new unit painted, which I'm actually really happy with, for my sort of level of painting anyway. Was my Tyrannid Neurotyrant /
nice.
Zoanthrope unit. I wanted to get this one painted up and based ready for our next stage of our Lumia 3 campaign for 40k, because I'm entering the fray with my nids with the my Neurotyrant that I've named the Mind Flayer. So be scared, Imperium, he's coming. But yeah, painted them up. Pretty happy with the way they've come out, and I'm kind of running this theme with the whole army, where I've got like the red bases and some of the bigger bases. I'm gonna have some like pools of blood and things like that on it that should look pretty cool to go with it as well. So yeah, and then a bit more of a close up of the Neurotyrant there. But looking forward to painting even more of the Tyranids. Yeah, and seeing how that goes. I'm currently got on the paint table. I picked up the new Kill Team box. So it's the AdMech engineers and the
Is it
Servitors.
Ravenor, is it? Something like that. Typhon. Yeah.
That's it. And obviously I've got the new Raveners in there. And I must say, in person, the new Ravener models are even nicer, actually. I really like the new... They're a bugger to build, but they're really nice models. And then I've obviously got all the Tyrannid scatter terrain as well. So that's kind of the next thing on the table for next time. But in terms of... I've had a couple of games. I had my first game with my Necrons, because obviously, as I showed last time, I've quickly, over the period of a month, really... painted up some Necrons for that new army for this year for me for 40k, and I played against Chris, who brought his new Space Wolves because the new Codex is outside, so he ran some of the new models. I think he ran the new Ragnar Blackmane, the new Logan, but he used the old model for it, and he ran some Wolf. Is it the Wolfguard Battle Wolfguard, whatever they're called?
Well, you've got a Wolfguard battle leader, and you've got Wolfguard head takers, which are like the 3 blade guard style.
That's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember what they were called. Sadly, it did not go beyond turn 3 for the Space Wolves because I had too much firepower for them. So I was sorry to Chris, but he managed to try out a few things before it happened, and it was my first game with the Necrons as well, so we both got to try a few things, but we will definitely have to have another game to see more of the Space Wolves for sure. And then the only other one I had, which was last week, was the first game, like I say, of our Lumia 3 campaign for this next section of it. And I took the Tyranids, and it's a 1500 point game against some Necrons we'd come across. So what we're doing with this next campaign section we're actually doing Crusade rules as well. So we're going to be like leveling up all the units and things like that for the alongside the narrative. And so for this battle, my hive fleet, tendril of a hive fleet, is on its way into Lumia 3, and we've come across stopped upon a moon on the way into the system. And as we've made landfall, we've disturbed a Necron tomb. And we literally made up this kind of fluff for it on the spot, because we rolled for a mission on the Crusade table for the mission type, and I think it was called Disturbed Vaults or something like that. And the whole thing of it was, if you won the battle, you got a new Crusade relic from the vault. And I was like, oh, well, this is perfect. We're doing Tyranids Necrons. We've got to weave this into the narrative here. So that actually worked out absolutely perfect.
It'd be even better if there's a hapless but fortunate commissar stuck in there somewhere.
yeah, for sure.
Desperate for a cup of Tanner.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun first game, and it was like a mission where the objectives disappear as the game goes on, and it was the Necrons defending, so they got to choose which objective or roll for the objectives that disappeared. And I love game types like that where you have to kind of change what you're going for as the game goes on. I think it works really well. But no, that was the last of what I'd been up to there, really. Sai, I know you said you haven't been too busy, but anything of note to, or anything you're hyped for, if anything, if you've not been doing too much on the table?
Getting ready for Heresy, really. So there's not a lot to show for it, but I've sort of been reorganizing my hobby space and making room and moving boxes around, so I've got space available for Heresy. I've sold a few things on eBay. And then I suppose the only other thing of note I've done is I went to the club last Wednesday. Not Games Workshop related, but my friend Simon was playing Steve, and they were playing Baron's War, which is this new second edition. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like set in the early 1200s.
Who was it that shared
Barons
that on our Discord? Was it who was it that shared that? Was it Rick?
can't remember, I'm afraid.
I don't know. I can't remember if anyone had shared it or not, but I
Yeah.
ended up watching the game. It's by somebody who used to work at Games Workshop, apparently. Andy, what? Oh, I forget his name. Begins with a W. No. I'll put it on the Discord later, but apparently he's ex Games Workshop, and it looked like a fun game, to be honest. So I might be tempted by that, but it's just yet another game system I probably won't have time for. So I'll just go and play games at the club, but I'll use Simon's stuff. But yeah, so other than that, not much really. Just getting ready for Heresy. I've been busy at work and been busy with real life stuff as well. So,
well, one thing to say is that we won't really necessarily touch too much on today anyway, but it's probably to mention it here. Grand Cathay have ended up coming out now for pre-order before Heresy. Which I thought it might be the other way around, to be honest, but they've really
resisted
the old world releases.
I've resisted the urge so far. I've not pre-ordered anything. I'm going to have a rule with Cathay. If I buy something for Cathay, it has to be built and painted before I buy anything else.
Well, fair.
Yeah, no, I'm laughing at myself as I'm saying it, listening, but that's what I'm going to try and do. Otherwise, I'll just end up with another box that I'll be overwhelmed by. But I figure if I buy the Sentinel first and I build it and I paint it, if it never gets any further than that, I've still got an epic Sentinel.
Or if you're a fan of the older game systems, like Heresy and Old World, if you're somebody that buys into both, it's quite a busy period, isn't it?
Yes.
That's why I was so surprised that they put them so close together. I really would have thought they'd have spaced them out a bit more.
I know. If Heresy weren't coming imminently, I would have pre-ordered the Cathay Battalion, I think, and a Sentinel. But with it coming out, it was to choose one or the other, and I'd already committed to Heresy. I didn't think Cathay would be so soon.
No, that's fair. That you got to try and do that, really, haven't you? There's only so much time, and money. But
if I win the lottery, all bets are off. I'm having it all.
And I'm sure we'll touch more on like
hire someone
later in the year for that anyway. So we'll get to deep dive more into it. But good to hear, guys, what we've been up to. But Ben, what is it time for?
And now the news.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
Right.
I need a jingle to play there, like the news team.
Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. I think it's more fun when we try and do it ourselves, though. It adds to the silliness. But going back, obviously, a couple of weeks, as we always do, to what the oldest reveal sort of was, and then I'm going to go through all the 40k stuff because there's been quite a bit. This Captain Centos model, remake of the model, because I think we had an old.
It's a remake of an homage.
Yeah,
it's a remake of the 2016 Captain Centos, which was a remake of the original lead Space Marine Captain with backpack and cape, which is the first Games Workshop miniature I ever bought.
Awesome. I've seen a lot of people as well saying that this mini will be quite good for like a Crimson Fists
Pedro
sub-faction. Yeah, Pedro.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Excellent Pedro.
Nice model though. Simple, of course, but good.
It's nice because there's a few bits of original style armor on it. If you look at the abdomen, it's not a Primaris style abdomen. It's the old school style ribbed cabling. His arms look like the sort of similar to the old school style Space Marines, and his backpack vents are like firstborn style backpack vents as well.
Well,
So starting to mix it up a little bit, and back banner for the win.
I'm the typical chart target by GW for this, because anything Ultramarine that drops, I'm usually gonna pick it up. So I'm a sucker for that sort of thing. So yeah, I'll be picking this little guy up.
Yeah,
I'm
those
sure.
backpack vents are old school. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So
One on the small one on the left.
That was the
He's not
first
got
one
his
you had.
cape on his backpack, but it did come with a cape attached, a metal cape attached to the backpack. And that was the
Look at
first
that
one I ever
old
bought.
school yellow trim. Love it. Love it. I love how they've brought back the red bolters though. At least they've done that. It's pretty cool.
Nice to
So,
see
yeah.
it painted as third company as well instead of second.
Well, second would be Kato, wouldn't it? Sicarius.
Well, I think it's at the minute it's the guy off Space Marine 2, isn't it?
Oh, is
I
it?
can spare 3 men, no more.
Oh, okay. I thought he was Ninth Company. Okay.
I'm not the one to
It's
ask
been a
about
while
all
since I
that
played
sort
Space
of
Marine 2, so I have to check what the shoulder rim colours were on him. I thought he was Ninth Company from memory. I thought he was light blue.
Could well be. Could well be. But
Let us know in the
moving
comments
on.
below whether or not it's what company the captain is in Space Marine 2.
Well, moving on to more Marines, we had a little bit of Black Templar stuff revealed. So we've got obviously new codex. We knew these were coming, didn't we? So not too
Can
much
we
of a
can we
surprise.
just say that has to be the worst cover art in the world? I'm sorry
Yeah.
to the artist, but look
Who
at the
decided to
proportions.
put the dome cut dude on there as well? Like what?
Well,
on
yeah,
earth?
Yeah,
What's going on?
we'll come on to the porridge bowl haircut in a minute. But that Templar in the
What's
middle
Jim
there,
Carrey doing on the front of that codex?
with
No,
the
that
teeny
helmet.
tiny like pinhead. I don't know
That
if
is-
does anyone remember the Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins in it?
Yes.
With the Goombas with the tiny little heads.
Even
That,
I've
if you
seen
put
that.
one in Power Armor, that's what it'll look like.
Oh, God.
So,
It also sounds like Monty Python. I mean, maybe that's the intention. But, yeah, I hadn't even twigged how bad that is. That is...
honestly,
That has
though,
to be a
that guy.
That has to have been a Friday afternoon job where the proofs come through and they've gone, "Is this all right for publishing?" Yeah, Barry.
Honestly,
come on,
though,
work pub.
that guy on the bottom left honestly looks like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber.
Well, yeah, they've obviously in the Black Templar Crusade fleet on whatever ship they're on whatever crusade it is, the barber's obviously dead. So they just say, "Get that ball and some scissors, stick it on his head." You're done.
It's the holy porridge bowl of St. Ignatius or something.
I mean,
Holy
yeah.
porridge bowl.
Are we
There's
sure
giving it
this
the
isn't
Crusade
actually like
vibe, and
AI
then
art? That it's not
there's
been
going
done by
too
an
far
AI?
with the stereotype button again. It turned up to 11. Must make it medieval knight. Give him a stupid haircut.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, I think the models have that stupid haircut.
I know.
Oh yeah, I think they're supposed to. Yeah, it's like monks or whatever, isn't it? Really. And then
Yeah,
you got
like
a new
sponsored.
Crusade ancient model, so like the banner bearer.
That was nice. I quite like that one.
I like this
I
model.
like
You don't,
everything
do you?
apart from the
So
helmet because
Yeah.
I don't like that style of helmet at all. I think the banners
I
are
do.
awesome.
you can put it. I think this guy here, he's got the half helmet. I think is it on the left?
But if you
Oh, no.
if you zoom in on his helmet, if you just look at the eye lenses on the helmet, if you
Hold on.
can.
I will. 1 second.
Look, he looks like a cute little kitty cat. Look at his eyes. You can't unsee it.
It's adorable. While we're horrendously zoomed in, just scroll up to that codex cover again so we can see it in
Oh,
its
no.
terrifying glory.
There he is.
I really
Oh,
quite
dear.
like this model. There it is. Ah, it's just so bad.
Yeah. But hey ho. And I quite like the ancient model. I think it's quite a good.
Oh, no,
one.
it-
He's
Everything
got a
on the model is
navigator
great, apart from the
skull on
helmet.
the top of his standard as well.
Pardon?
He's got a navigator's skull on the top of his standard.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's got
Oh
the
yeah,
third
for
eye
the third
socket.
yeah.
Oh, well, either that or it was a clean headshot.
Not a bolt gun there. It wouldn't be anything
No.
clean left
No.
of that.
No. Or maybe it's an organism that didn't have a mouth, and the bolter did actually just go through multiple points. of
That's
the skull.
that's a sort of rumor engine that as well. That banner top.
Mm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And talking of the man who keeps the Black Templars in line, including their haircuts, it's the Execrator.
Yeah.
Name aside, this is pretty cool.
So
And
this
take a moment
is-
just to reflect upon the fact that the Black Templars got a special chaplain model before the Blood Angels did.
yeah. Although they got their a new version of
They
like
got the
their,
Marties, didn't they?
They get Marty's, yes, but I was thinking they didn't get like
Yeah.
a special Death Company chaplain. They got the
Oh no,
Marties.
they not had a generic one. No.
I retract my comment.
I was going to say they
You know,
got,
this
they got
this
their
is
named
cool because it's
characters,
got
and-
multiple options as well.
He does different head options, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that head option's
Well, yeah,
pretty
he's got a
sweet.
power sword and a different Crozius as well.
I like that. Yeah, that one on the left there, the bare head and the stance. That's really cool.
The Crozius in that picture there, that's my favourite one.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think I'd use the skull helm, but that Crozius.
Agreed. Yeah,
Well, I like these character models, like you say, different
He's,
ways you can change the stance. And all
his
that sort of
his
stuff.
backpack icon, his Iron Halo style icon is different as well. There's two different ones.
Oh yeah,
No,
got Halo or the cross.
but no, I like both of those new Black Templar models, and even though that's all they've got, you wouldn't expect the smaller sub factions to get much more than that anyway. I think that's more than enough for Black Templars, really.
Well, they've had all the other range refresh, haven't they? So yeah,
Yeah,
they've
exactly.
done well.
Yeah,
Moving off of the Black Templar stuff, we've got a new Grey Knights Combat Patrol. What are our thoughts on this one?
I'll tell you what my initial thoughts was when I first saw it this morning. You see Crow there with all the Grey Knights, and it just reminded me of Gru saying, "These are my minions," because they're so tiny. It just shows how bad the scale creep has been. I mean, that Castellan Crow models, it's been out over a year now, I think, if not more.
well,
2 years.
and he's almost as tall as the Dreadnought in the background.
And
it's
a cracking model, but the Grey Knights are desperately in need of a range refresh.
Yeah.
So this tells me that there's no refresh coming anytime soon.
No, well, we kind of guessed that when they got the entry in the Inquisition Codex, didn't we? And we kind of thought, okay, well, that's it. They're not getting any new shinies anytime soon.
Yeah, 11th edition will be the time for Grey Knights, I think.
It's pretty rare that we ever get a named character in a Combat Patrol or Spearhead, though.
See, that just shows you how good Grey Knights could be, that Castellan Crow.
Yeah. Although the thing I've always found annoying about Crow is he's got really awesome backstory, and then he's got this. You look at it and go, he's got an amazing weapon, and then the rules are, and because he is so pure, he doesn't use it. He just uses it as a big metal stick to hit things with. Like, this is the darkest and most dangerous sword in the galaxy, but because he's a pure and shiny Grey Knight, he just uses it as a hitting stick. Doesn't use any of its malefic powers whatsoever.
That sucks.
Yeah, there's been some interesting creative choices with Grey Knights, hasn't there?
Over the years, yeah.
Yeah, that sucks a bit. But yeah, so we got that coming for the Grey Knights. I would assume we have a couple of weeks where we have Black Templars.
Yeah,
Grey
just
Knights
so
pretty close.
So new Combat Patrol, and then they get the Codex, and they'll get that updated Nemesis Dread Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot they were getting that. That's something at least.
Yes, updated baby carrier. For sure. No, I diss, but I do actually think Grey Knight's pretty cool. All being said. But yeah, I think that's the majority of what we've had revealed for 40k since the last episode. And we'll touch upon what we think might be coming once we get to the second half of the year discussion. But we've had a little bit of Sigmar, to say the least, for what we usually get for Sigmar. So we'll go on to that. And we had the Khorne Codex will be coming, or should I say Codex Battle Tome, I suppose. And a new mini in the Khorne Deathbringer. Another character model.
I forgot about this one.
And as always, just
Because Khorne really needed more character models.
Yeah.
But it's the same. I was saying that about like the Ideneth though, and they keep doing it for Sigmar, and it's really winding people up, including myself. Because Sigmar, a lot of the armies need expanding upon for units, but they just keep making new characters, and it's just not enough really.
New release, another character model.
Yeah, although we will touch on Caradron in a minute. That is quite a nice update.
That's definitely worth touching on. But yeah.
Yeah. But no, okay, new model. But at the end of the day, Khorne players are going to be disappointed, aren't they? But you've got a new battle tome coming as well, and a new spearhead, which is of pretty much just all. Is it not Gorefangs?
Fleshhounds.
Fleshhounds and the three-headed ones, Karanax.
Yeah, the ones that are we're dogs, honestly, Gov.
Yeah. There's almost like a Fangs of the Blood Gods, like a hunting pack, which is quite a cool idea. If that's what the side of Khorne you're sort of interested in.
The Khorne equivalent of Stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for what's coming for Khorne. But let's move on to what came out today, I believe. Some very exciting developments and a long, long time coming for Caradron Overlord fans in Age of Sigmar. You've got some new minis coming and a new battle tome. First of which
Pirates
is the Null Chemist, which
Yeah,
is basically like an anti-wizard priest Caradron Overlord character.
Yeah, kind of. He's got a suit made from nullstone meteorites apparently, so he can work in like really hazardous environments. And then he's the null gas or something that he can shoot from his left arm. It must have some effect on magic and stuff like that. And it also says he can provide some level of protection against his allies within a certain range. So presumably it'd be like protection from magic spells or -1 to hit or something like that. I don't know. But it proper gives me Bioshock Big Daddy vibes. If you've played Bioshock, you see the Big Daddy. Yeah. That gas thing on his left arm there, that's begging to be cut off and a drill put on there. Definitely.
Yeah.
And then he's got the tongs on the right arm, which reminds me of have you seen Inner Space, Mr. Igo?
Yes. I've not watched the film in ages.
That is a cracking film. I watched it probably about 3 weeks ago, and it's still as good now as it was then.
I'll have to watch that again.
Yeah. But no, I really like this. I love the faceplate, the deep sea diver style faceplate with the glass visor. And there's little tiny windows on the sides of his helmet as well, if you look on the side picture. But I like the backpack as well. Because it's got two sort of small
when he takes the helmet off and he's a dwarf with multiple eyes.
Spider.
Yeah, spider face. Like, what the hell?
What do you call a spider with 5 eyes?
Oh dear.
Spider.
Dad joke warning.
You meant to follow that up from what you call a fish with no eyes. Tell that one first. Moving on.
Anyway,
I've heard that one before. Oh dear. But yes, another couple of units which are going to be the same box, cool. Aren't they? The Von Grimm Selvages. And the other ones are called the
Harpoon Crew.
The Von Grimm Harpoon Crew, yeah. Some more melee for Caradron, which they needed.
Yeah, so these have got short range, haven't they? They've got pistols and like a cutlass, but the guy in the middle's got the robot parrot on his, well, not on his shoulder, it's on his backpack, but it's still cool, and he's got a hook for a hand. So they're definitely a guy pirate vibe going here, isn't there?
Yes, I looked at these and went, these are much more what I wanted from Caradons. I mean, they are like steampunk sky pirates.
That
one's got a knife clenched between his teeth.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it? And there's like a new design direction as well, because we've got bare heads, we've got big beards, bare arms, and the oft talked about female Caradron are finally out and fighting.
Yeah,
I think these scream Votan to me. These look really Votan. I
think these would work really nicely as Votan as well.
Yeah,
Votan
I think
pirates.
like you said, the half cut arms, like the sleeveless arms. I think that's.
I bet there's a few bits from Votan make their way towards these and vice versa.
Yeah, that hook hand in particular.
And these are some hench dwarfs, man. Very hench dwarfs.
No, these are cool. I like these.
These and the harpoon dudes are equally cool.
This mask is creepy as hell. It's like a baby mask. What the hell?
Yeah.
That is creepy as hell.
When I first saw these, I actually thought it might be an updated warband for Underworlds, because it kind of reminded me of Thundrix Profiteers.
Yeah, it's got that vibe. It's similar from the parrot that's perched on the guy with the big beards and the trident's shoulder. I'm assuming that one kit makes both both
Yeah,
sets.
it will be. It'll be one set, won't it? One kit.
If you scroll back up and look at the poses, I think they're the same.
Very similar. Yeah.
Just moved around. Yeah, I think they're similar poses. So it's a dual
Scroll
kit,
down,
isn't
yeah.
it?
But yeah, no, very very cool addition
Yeah,
for
so
the
they're using the
Caradron
same
here,
base bits.
and they've
Yeah.
needed it.
But that Trident guy is a rumor engine as well.
Okay.
It was only,
Yeah. No.
a
Yes.
few weeks
Yeah.
ago, that one.
Yeah. I remember that one. But no, very very cool. And then to top it off, then I did say a while back with some predictions at one point, I believe. I thought that Caradron might get like some sort of machinery-based endless spells, but it wouldn't be magic. It would be like some sort of Aether engineer would bring in some version of that. But they've actually got a terrain piece that's going to work in a similar fashion, so it's multi-part, but it's like a dock effectively for the ships.
Yeah, it
but it
can
also has
do
other
repairs,
uses,
I think,
doesn't it?
can't it?
Can do repairs. It also dishes out more anti magic, so it can get rid of endless spells on the field. And it looks
Yeah,
so.
those
It
little
looks like
drones are cool, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. Which Caradon have needed, like from a rules perspective on the table, they suck in Sigmar at the moment because they can't. They're a faction that uses so much firepower from the ships that they can't make the core rules in Sigmar too good for shooting because Caradon would just be far superior to any other army. So they've got to nullify that, but then it leaves Caradron like how do you kind of work around that to make them a decent tabletop army? And in the last edition or two, they've just not been good enough to use on the table, and people don't like taking them. But maybe some of these new models, some combat a combat unit, this new terrain piece might be quite handy. You've got the new character model that's anti-magic, so that'll shut down the fact that they don't have magic, and I'm sure they'll have a few nifty things they can do with this. I'm quite excited
Somebody
to see.
put a comment on Reddit earlier today when this got announced saying it's Caradron Portaloo.
No, it's a TARDIS. It needs to be blue.
Yeah.
Well, I
absolutely want to get one of these
that,
and just paint it blue.
Yeah, I did think. I'm not a fan of Doc 2, but straight away when I looked at this, and if you go on, I think it's probably on Facebook, I've seen it on Games Workshop social media, they've posted another angle of this thing. I think it's more from like a vertical view.
Yeah,
and
it
really does look like
I
the
put it in
TARDIS
my
on that
video.
one. Yeah. Somebody's definitely going to paint this up blue, aren't they? Straight away.
Yeah, they've got to. Definitely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
If you paint this blue, then you just need like if I said Votan, you just need a Caradon in a fez.
But once again,
like a really long
actually,
scarf.
It kind of looks like some sort of old school diving station, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you'd send
Does,
down
like
the
a diving
divers
bell
in.
type thing.
Yeah, they
very
painted
cool.
the window on the door really well. Sells the effect.
Yeah. Somebody should try and paint or put a picture of an actual Caradron Overlord inside, just peeking through the window. That'd be great. And then of course the new battle tome coming as well. The very angry new looking dwarf on the front. There we go.
Yeah, you do what she tells you.
Yeah, definitely. She ain't messing around. But no.
She's going, you spent how much?
And I think this is a new spearhead. Yes.
Yeah, I think to be honest,
Trailblazers.
it's the same content as the old one, isn't it?
Yeah, if not very, very similar. It looks
So
to me.
Endrim Master, 3 Sky Wardens or Endrim Riggers, whatever you want to
I
build them
think
as.
it got like discontinued, maybe the old one.
5
So
Grundstock Grundhaulers and then 5 Grundstock Thunderers, and then you got the 1 Gunhauler as well.
So yeah, not a bad start to if you want to start a Caradron army, and then you can pick up some of the new bits and get a bigger ship as well.
Add pirates.
And add pirates. That's it. Be well on your way. But no, very cool for Caradron players. I'm really pleased for them because it's been a tough few years for them not getting really anything. As for a lot of the newer Sigmar armies, really they need a big boost, but this is good for them. And
Yeah, they got the code right, and then they got the Arcanaut Admiral, and that's probably about it.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I'm pleased for them and very exciting stuff.
Not counting Dreki Flint.
No, that's it. Right, but I think unless you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up for reveals or anything like that we may have missed, we can go on to sort of our chat for predictions.
No, I think that's
second
everything
half
that's
2025.
been
Yeah.
released in the news.
I mean, we can spin off of that if you want to straight into. I know you were saying you wanted to spin off that side into kind of, since that's the latest reveal for Sigmar, I suppose. What we've
Yeah, we might as well start with
yeah.
Age of Sigmar, yeah.
So the only two things I've got roadmaps up for that have anything at all left on them that hasn't been revealed yet is for Sigmar and 40k. There's one thing I believe left on each. So for Sigmar, the only thing on here I believe, so you've got Khorne in the black and white there and Caradron. The third one, people were saying either Flesh Eater Courts or Cainite, so
Daughters of
what they call
Cain.
Daughters of Cain. So that's likely the other one on there. And to be honest, that probably wouldn't be far off what's left this year. Maybe one other thing to come, but that's obviously not on here. We've had a... Ben's disappeared.
Oh, yeah, we'll wait until he comes back.
Wait until he comes back.
So we obviously with Caradron just getting all this stuff. They were one of the armies that needed a range boost, if you like. Fire Slayers are another one. Obviously, they're not on the roadmap, but hopefully they'll get a similar sort of treatment. So yeah, Khorne we know about. Caradron Overlords now we know about. You think you could be onto something? Yeah, Daughters of Cain with that one, because like you say, Flesh Eater Courts, the end of the last edition got a massive sort of boost, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They did. They got the Knights and they got the Vargulf model.
Yeah.
And did they get a character model as well? Was that
well, you had you had all the Morbeg Knights. You had obviously what's his name? The big main character, wasn't it?
Oh, of course, yes.
Because he came like top of our voting for like Model of the Year, didn't he? For last
yeah, I
year?
can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
but I can't bloody remember his name now.
He clearly made an impact.
I know.
You two loved him, yeah.
I know. I want to say it's M something, and I don't know why I can't remember it. I'm very tired, guys. Sorry. Mentally, I cannot remember names, but yeah.
I know the guy. The guy. He's got the hat. And
the thing.
Him. Oh, sure.
The only other thing I will say is though, and this is going into a little bit of my psyche here. Sorry. For Flesh Eater Courts, a lot of people have been saying because we had all the Soul Blight Gravelord stuff earlier this year. A lot of people are saying we might get upgrades for like the Terror Geist with the Abhorrent Ghoul King on it for Flesh Eaters.
Could do.
With the new kind of Terror Geist model, because we had the new Zombie Dragon, didn't we? So it would make sense to maybe get the new Terror Geist as well. So maybe.
It's possible. So it could be that that's part of the cover of the Flesh Eater Courts one, and it's some kind of big flappy bat-winged. Well, we've already got the bat-winged Ghoul King, haven't we? But I'll tell you what I think. I think it is Daughters of Cain for one major reason.
Mm-hmm.
If Flesh Eater Courts, you've got the ghouls that would need replacing, and the Strigoi on the Terrorgeist, and a bunch of stuff that would need replacing before those models could then just be filed off safely to be, tucked away for perhaps the old world. Daughters of Cain, it's just the Witch Elf models that would need to be replaced with Age of Sigmar versions before you've then got the entire Dark Elf range available to be released in the old world. Because the Dark Elves don't belong in Cities of Sigmar. I don't think they're even in the Cities of Sigmar book.
Very good point.
But the only one that is still a common part of the range at the moment, therefore, is the Witch Elf models from Daughters of Cain. And if you phased those out and replaced them with more Age of Sigmar appropriate ones, it's only one box. Do a box of, core, more kind of styled to fit on kind of the round base dynamic poses, rather than aiming on ranking up like the original Witch Elf box was designed to, then you could have Dark Elves make their appearance in the old world very, very quickly.
Well, there's increasing rumours constantly as well that the Dark Elf stuff's leaving very soon. So, yeah.
So I think it's Daughters of Cain, and I think we're going to see new Daughters of Cain core box. I think we're going to see a new Witch Elf box to make them, and maybe a new Cauldron of Blood. Maybe the Cauldron leaves and becomes, a Dark Elf model again in the old world, and we get something again that is more styled towards Age of Sigmar.
Well, we know they'll do things like that because they did it with the Goblin Catapult, didn't they? The what's it called?
Doom Diver.
Doom Diver.
Doom Diver.
So we've got a new version for Age of Sigmar, and the old one came out for Old World.
Yeah. And
So
I mean,
we know
likewise,
that they're willing to do that for kits. Moving away from the roadmap, though,
go on.
for another prediction for Age of Sigmar,
Mm-hmm.
was, you know what I'm going to say. I do think Fire Slayers need something.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Not necessarily anytime soon, but I think they will get something. But it can't be long now before Chaos Dwarfs come to Age of Sigmar, or whatever they're going to call it, the Armies of Hashut or whatever.
The Armies of
It should be that, yeah.
So they're in total war. You could argue that they might go to Old World, but I very much doubt it. I think it'd be Age of Sigmar because they've dropped all the hints in the rule books. There's been hints in White Dwarf. There's been hints in other people's battle tomes. I think it's only a matter of time now.
See, I'm kind of on a lot of people's side saying that there's a lot of rumours that Fire Slayers are going to be scrapped. Because I think if you are going to bring in Chaos Dwarves, I think that's too close to... I know Fire Slayers are Order, but just kind of the theme and how similar they kind of are in terms of like maybe look or idea. I just feel like... I don't know. I feel like they can't both be there. But
I wonder how well Fire Slayers sell compared to other armies.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, isn't it?
I like them personally, but I know a lot of people don't. So, and personally, I think it could be quite cool if they sort of almost folded in the Magmadroth side of things to Chaos Dwarves anyway, something similar. I think could kind of maybe work. And I don't know if there could be some sort of.
I think Chaos Dwarf is going to end up with some sort of machine beast. I think some sort of like brass and steam powered beastie thing.
Giant brass mechanical bull.
Yeah, something like that. Some sort of
That'd be very cool.
Bull knot.
But I mean, you know, because
crossed in a rodeo bull and a steam train.
Some engineered monstrosity I can see them coming along with as like not a centerpiece, but a big model.
But I suppose actually that you could have Fire Slayers and them because I suppose they'd sort of be replacing more Beasts of Chaos, in a way.
Yeah.
Because obviously,
I think there's still room for Fire Slayers alongside Chaos Dwarfs. But I think Chaos Dwarfs will come with your normal Dwarf Warriors. There'll be some sort of special unit of X, Y, Z. A Lord on a Bull Centaur. There'll be maybe some smaller Bull Centaurs as well. And then some sort of mechanical beastie thing. Shooter unit, top hat and axe unit.
I've got to be honest though. God's sake, Games Workshop. We've just been chatting about it with the corn thing. Please expand some of your armies in Sigmar before you make another new Sigmar army. For God's sake, man! Like some of the armies are honestly really poor for choice.
It has 2 infantry units that are both made using the same box and 15 characters.
Like there's a few armies at the minute in Sigmar that are barely usable on the tabletop when you're against certain armies because the choice is so minimal. So I hope somebody at the top there is going to sort that out, but we'll see. But if Chaos Dwarves get revealed, will I be as pumped as you, Si, and probably you, Ben? Yes, I will. It'll look awesome then. I will look forward to that. But we'll see how far away that is. But could it come this year? Could be, or even a tease maybe for next year. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we're only halfway through the year, and
exactly.
Almost everything that's on that roadmap is out. So
yeah, Chaos Dwarf mechanical beastie thing.
Stormcast, more units for Stormcast.
Okay. But we'll move on.
We found a new chamber.
40k.
You've opened the plaid chamber. Everyone's wearing kilts.
Imagine. Oh, some of the paint schemes though with that. Let's go.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Some of the different clans. Yeah, let's go. All right. Well, let's move on to 40k. And I think again with this one, there's only one on this roadmap. That's got that we haven't had yet. I think because you got Black Templars on the end there.
Yeah,
Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights. I think is Grey Knights one of those maybe as
Grey
well.
Knight.
But then obviously the top right, Salamanders, which we haven't.
Yeah,
had yet.
we've touched on this one briefly. So Salamanders, I'm guessing Codex supplement, new character. So that'll be Vulcan Hestan going through the Rubicon. And then there's a rumor that Iron Hands are getting a Terminator character, they'll get a supplement. White Scars are getting some dude on a jet bike. I'm not sure how much I believe that one, but you never know with Games Workshop. They'll get a supplement, and then whether any other ones will get one like what are they called? Imperial Fists.
Imperial Fists.
And Crimson Fist, maybe. Pedro Canto.
Well,
the rumor is, if you Valrak's saying on his videos, he thinks Lysander is going to get a new miniature.
For the fists.
Yeah,
Big,
I mean,
big
that would make sense. But would Assault Terminators come with it, though? Are they going to hold that back until this new Space Marine Codex 2.0 or whatever they're going to do?
Well, they're clearly setting up more Primarchs and big characters coming back, because they're doing all these sub-faction codexes at the minute, so they're setting up for that, even if it's going to be in the next couple of years, because the other rumours have been right that we're going to have a new Space Marine Codex before the next edition next year anyway.
Yeah, I keep hearing this, Space Marine 2.0, so...
Which is
do we think that the Salamanders are just going to get a character, or do we think they might get a unit as well?
They might get something else, yeah. Very possible.
I mean, the Black Templars got the unique chaplain and the ancient model. And they've already had a whole bunch of Primaris characters done.
Do you know what would be awesome?
Go on.
So a new Vulcan Hestan, that would be awesome. And then they could either do Tushan, because he's chapter master and also leader of the Fire Drakes as well, isn't he? Because they hold the same position. Or bring back Chaplain Xavier.
Yes, I do love the Chaplain Xavier model, one with the hammer in one hand.
With his hammer, yeah, and his Crozius in the other hand. Bring him back. That'd be awesome.
What I was wondering was whether or not they might do like Devastators in Primaris scale, because we've had the Assault Marines replaced now.
There's still a few, aren't there, things that need to
get
well, yeah, Devastators are still true, the Firstborn scale. So might they do like Primaris Devastators, and this be the opportunity to release them alongside the Salamanders?
Yeah, they could do. Definitely. Or Assault Terminators could come, maybe.
Yeah, Thunderhammer and Storm Shield would work equally well for them, as well as it would work for
Fist.
Oh gosh, Fist. Tell you what I'd like to see, to be honest. This is pure wish listing. Something like the Aggressors, but actively styled towards combat. Like we've got the Gravis armor being used for heavy intercessors and stuff. And the Aggressors are supposed to be like the Gravis version of like the assault troops. They really aren't. I mean, they're slow. They're more like walking gun platforms, with the twin heavy flamers or the kind of bolter shoulder cannons. I'd really like to see something that is more kind of an heavy assault trooper in Gravis armor. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Many possibilities, but I think 40k second half of this year is going to be very Marine heavy, for sure.
What a surprise!
I still think there's more Votan to come.
Oh, by the way, something we didn't bring up actually. GW did put out an article about a week or two ago saying that the Year of Chaos has in fact ended, and it wasn't an annual thing. It was actually meant to be from Scaventide through till just recently, basically. So they've kind of said that is actually what their Year of Chaos was. Yeah.
So they blagged it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Who was it? There's a great video. I'll shout out Auspex Tactics. Did a really good video on it about this whole Year of Chaos thing, and actually kind of broke down what happened with it, because they only ever really mentioned that it was the Year of Chaos once, I think, towards the start when this Scaventide thing came out. And then haven't really touched upon it since then much. I think it was just before Emperor's Children they maybe mentioned it again. And then obviously people have latched onto that. But obviously aside from Emperor's Children and Skaven last year, it's not been really, has it? But, The
Year of Chaos.
Yeah.
Yes, right, sure.
Yeah. But yes, anyway. But I think that's probably until at least next year, when obviously we'd expect this half new edition refresh. For the rest of this year, it'll just be a lot of Marine stuff, I think.
Is there anything out of left field that you might expect to see for 40k?
I'd see
Anything
Dark
that's
Eldar, but I doubt it.
Prince Uriel and some Eldar like pirates maybe.
to go with like the Corsairs box that they did
Yeah,
for
some
Kill
Corsairs.
Team.
Yeah, I think we'll get a new Prince Uriel.
What for?
I'm going to go out there and say new Space Hulk.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
This is touching more upon another thing I was gonna bring up in a minute anyway, with sort of our ideas for the big release that might be for the end of this year for like
Yeah,
a
we can
specialist
cover that in a
game.
minute.
So I mean, before we do get onto that, is there anything else in any of the other systems? So like Old World,
Oh,
we've said before,
Yeah.
haven't we, Ben? Like campaign-based stuff, maybe
Well,
now.
I think we all agreed on All World. I think they've done the 10 factions now, even though it was only supposed to be 9. Cathay makes it 10. Match plays on pre-order, and then there'll be a big FAQ, which is due. Oh, hopefully it's not that big, but there'll be an FAQ, and then I think the next book will be a campaign book, because they keep mentioning how chaos are affecting Cathay and stuff like that.
You're saying Border Princes, Ben? You think?
I think Border Princes, but I'm also tempted to think that we might start seeing a second wave of arcane journals. Now that they've established the idea with Cathay that there's going to be 2 arcane journals. Yeah, I think they might start releasing some extra arcane journals, with like some extra armies of infamy, maybe another character or 2. I think we might start to see that now that the armies are out, adding little extra bits and bobs to them.
Do you think it'll be like individual ones for each faction, or do you think it'll be like a big campaign supplement that'll have more armies of infamy in it for the factions?
Think to make it work in terms of a release schedule, I think it's more likely to be individual ones for each army. So the one I would expect to see most would be another Empire one, because we've only touched on a fraction of what's going on in the Empire at the moment. I mean, the Crusader list and the Null list are literally the only 2 we haven't had a Middenheim list, we haven't had a Marienburg list, or Wizenland as it is at this point. And I'm really, because what I was hoping was going to be in the Empire one this time round and wasn't, was Halflings. So I'm really hoping that maybe it'll include the Moot, and they'll release like either re-release the old metal Halfling models or do a new Halfling box, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think we will see more arcane journals. So I suppose you could argue that the reason Cathay are getting 2 because they've got nothing in Forces of Fantasy, so they had to have 1 arcane journal for the Grand Army list, and then a follow-up one for an Army of Infamy and some extra lore. But I do think there's stuff missing from a lot of the other armies. Well, not all of them, but there's room definitely for arcane journals for some more factions for sure.
My sort of prediction for it is that we will, like you said, Ben, we'll get more of those sort of armies of infamy. But I think they may actually do like almost like old school Warhammer Fantasy, where my favorite was like Lustria, but like something that you have like a campaign supplements released in order for this time period. So like you might have Border Princes, maybe you have like Empire versus I don't know whoever. And then you have Armies of Infamy for those factions within that campaign supplement.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, right.
So that's what I picture. And then maybe you'd have
a campaign book
like
with
Beast
Empire,
and
Wood Elves,
and
Chaos, and something in that one, and then another campaign book with Cathay, whatever. Yeah, I see what you mean.
That's what I picture. But who knows? Well, I think it could be either. But it's exciting. I think that for me, for Old World, this is what I've been waiting for now. Like. Because I've for Old World, for me, it's kind of it's almost second game. So I have my Tomb Kings now. I just kind of want more to play with it now, like different campaign supplement stuff and all that, to jump back into it more. Because I've had my nice releases for that army, so that's what I'm excited for now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get for that, and the possibilities are endless for that, aren't they? So
I still think we might equally get like that campaign book stuff you're saying. They might do Battle of Finnable Plain and release the Dark Elves.
Oh god, yeah.
It is a little outlier for other game systems. Blood Bowl, I still think we'll see a high elf Blood Bowl team.
Yeah, because it's weird that we haven't yet.
Yeah, I think that's definitely coming. But could they now is there room now for a Cathay team?
Ooh, very interesting idea. Yes, that would be very cool.
Interesting. Yeah,
because you could have like so you have the Jade Warriors as be your main linesman, but then maybe like they've got the Ogre Gunner, you might have the Ogre as a big guy.
You could have an Ogre. You could have Gate Guard as a blitzer.
Yeah. Very
What about
interesting
like
idea.
a smaller version of the Sentinel, almost?
Yes, like Terracotta Warrior. That would be really
Mm,
cool.
yeah, that could be pretty cool. Yeah, that's a
That's
good
a really
idea.
cool
That's
idea.
nice. Not a bad shout. That. What? So then the only other thing for Old World is then, do we think Kislev is definitely out of the question now? Then
No, I don't think it's
for
out of the
like,
question.
I don't think it's out of the question. I think it's just been put on hold.
Yeah,
no, that's
like
what I
maybe
mean.
next
So like,
year or something.
yeah, like this year is what I'm saying, really. For like
Yeah, I don't think
another
we'll
army.
see Kislev this year.
Okay.
I
Have to
think
wait and see.
releasing an entirely new, like the Cathay army, has been enough of a shock. I don't expect
Oh yeah,
to see Kislev before the next year.
yeah, for sure. Well, we'll have to wait and see with that. And you mentioned Blood Bowl there, Si. Grand Cathay, not a bad shout. Maybe we get another team or two. It's the only other game towards the end of the year, though, that a lot of people have said, could there be a new edition for Blood Bowl? Is that
Maybe.
potentially a thing? Maybe.
They haven't done the Khemri team yet for Blood Bowl.
No,
Either,
that's
have
the
they?
other one, isn't it? High Elves and Khemri are the two teams that are they supposedly said they would do,
Outstanding.
but haven't done yet.
I'd be
What
up
about
for a Team
Necromunda?
Peaks
What
team.
do we think for Necromunda?
Oh, so we had. Let's see.
Another season, isn't it? Because they're going through like the seasonal thing for that, aren't they?
There's another. There's got to be another book due soon.
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, they're doing the whole thing that Kill Team were doing last year, where they're going through seasons of box releases, aren't they? So whatever the next one of them is, I'm sure probably worth noting that the next big reveal show for the second half of the year will be Nova, because that's end of August.
Yeah, Kill Team I think will be
Nova Open.
getting a new box as well.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah,
I mean-
Typhon's just come out, so like I say, so next one will be
I've
revealed
got a
soon.
prediction for Kill Team.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Tau stealth suits will be one of them, I think.
They really could do with a new. I mean, especially if they went back to more of the style of the XV15 rather than the big.
Well,
clunky-
that's my hope. The XV15 were epic stealth suits instead of the cream eggs.
Yes, they actually look stealthy.
Yeah, so I think Tau stealth suits, Wolf Scouts, I think, are a shoe-in for Kill Team because they weren't in the Codex. It's a glaring mission. So I think Space Wolf Scouts could be a great Kill Team.
Do you think they
And
do
the- and
that
then the other
though
one-
after the Space Wolves release? You don't think they'd have
Well,
done
not
that for the
straight
last
away.
one?
They've invalidated entire codices just by we've released this, and by the way, we've completely changed the rules between the time of sending it to print and releasing it for sale. I mean, look, the Orc
They could do
Record Crew
anything.
came out
Yeah.
after the Orc Codex had come out.
Yeah, that's true.
So
maybe.
yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to release Space Wolf Scouts pretty soon because they're a different type of scout, aren't they? The veteran.
Yeah, they're
Space
supposed to be
Wolf Scouts.
old veterans rather than young neophytes.
And then I think if you're going to introduce Catachan Jungle Fighters, Kill Team is the way to do it.
Well, we've said before, haven't we, that different guard regiments would be the perfect way thing to do in Kill Team.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
but I think
Oh.
Tau stealth suits that'd be a cracking idea for Kill Team. That
Necromunda, I'm still waiting for them to do scavies.
Yeah.
We've been waiting a while for them to do the underhigh, like the depths of the sump. And I know we had Hive Secundus, and that was the perfect opportunity to introduce like Spyras. But unless they're going to delve further into Secundus, and they could
I
delve
think we
into
might
Secundus.
stick with Secundus for a little bit,
It's
and
the
then.
current setting, yeah, for this season.
But we could still have Rattlings in Secundus. We could still have Scavies in Secundus.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm pondering for Necromunda.
I'd like to see them mess around even more with this mutant stuff. I think some of the models that have come out of that have been really cool. It's sparked everybody's creativity with it as well. We've seen what you've done already, Ben, with some.
Yeah, I've been on the loose on that one.
Yeah. I think it's been quite a cool setting, so I look forward to seeing. And Necromunda is that game for me where I'm like, I don't have the extra time for it, but I really badly want to have it because it's just so many cool models and such a cool setting.
It's just such a good setting.
Yeah. But yeah, the specialist games, I think we've mostly really covered there. The only offshoot of that, I suppose, would be obviously, and nobody cares about Underworld, sorry guys. And then as a
I did.
and then-
War
I
Cry is
did-
well, no, that's the
Underworld
problem, isn't
died.
it? Like, even
I
I
did.
used to be the biggest fan of Underworlds, and even I don't care about it anymore.
I did, and then this new edition, I was just like, no.
a bit meh, yeah.
Sorry, swing and a miss.
For
For me, anyway, I'm sure there's people that love it, and if they do, great. I hope it does well, but I just have no interest in second edition Underworlds.
They had 2 game systems they could keep, Underworlds or Warcry, and they made the wrong choice. Warcry is so much better.
Oh. But then this comes into something I'm sure we'll each have like our own guess for what this might be. What's the big end of year release going to be for Christmas? Could we be getting a new specialist game? Could it be a new Warhammer Quest? We haven't had one of those since Curse City. Could it be a Space Hulk type thing like Ben mentioned? Where the hell is Warcry? What's going on with that? Could it be that we do get this Mordheim-esque game that's been rumoured for a while now? That might be coming back in the Sigmar setting. Or even Old World maybe, because we know that it's I think we said it's around then, isn't it, Ben? Is Mordheim?
It is. Mordheim was still around at this point in time. It was destroyed finally at the end of the Great War Against Chaos. So it is still around until Magnus the Pious blows it up on the way home from Prague.
And to be fair, the rumours aren't necessarily that it's called Mordheim, it's just that it's a Mordheim-esque game. So it might just be that it's replacing Warcry and it's in the Sigmar setting, maybe. I mean, that would be one of my still main sort of foil hat kind of guesses, I guess, really. But there have been rumours around it. I would hope that something like that's
if we're going to guess for a specialist game towards the end of the year, then I think it'll either be Space Hulk or Warhammer Quest, because they said they were going to alternate between the two universes. So we had Blackstone Fortress, then we had Curse City, so we're due to go back to 40k. So
well, I'm glad you said that, Si, because one of the things I was going to bring up, and Ben, I'm sure you'll want to touch on this as well, what about combining them two? What if the next Warhammer Quest was combined with Space Hulk?
I was just going to say that. Why not do both?
I mean,
what would it be too similar to Blackstone Fortress? That's the only problem.
But that is Warhammer Quest, though, isn't it? It's meant to be linear in, like, you know, it's a dungeon crawler, isn't it? But I don't know. There's just a
I think Warhammer Quest on a Necron Tomb world would be pretty cool.
If you tried to do Space Hulk as Warhammer Quest, I think my concern would be that Space Hulk, I mean, people like myself in particular, love Space Hulk. It has a very fond place, but it is a very specific rule set. It is, you know, it's all about that turn-based 2-player moving back and forth. It isn't the same thing. And I think trying to combine them would be a mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. I wouldn't have even said, like, rules-wise, Ben. It was more just, for me, I was thinking, like a narrative setting for Warhammer Quest. But, like, I get what you mean, yeah. I don't think they'd combine the rules. I was more thinking sort of a Space
You mean if
Hulk
they set
setting.
Warhammer Quest on a Space Hulk?
Yeah,
is that
basically,
what you mean?
yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I think if they went, we've got this new game and it's on a Space Hulk, and everyone went, Space Hulk, and it's a Quest game. And
like, marketing bollocks in it, yeah.
See, for me, I'd love that, because I never really played Space Hulk, so I've got no nostalgia for it, if you know what I mean. I know everybody loves it and whatever that played it originally, but, like, I'd find that quite cool. But
you should have a game of it. It is good.
It's a lot of fun. I've got it.
Tells me,
to get together at some point and play a game of it.
That'd be cool.
The term Overwatch will have an all new meaning. It's still the same thing, but the stress of putting your Marines on Overwatch and waiting to see what happens and stuff is awesome.
And trying to make sure you've made all the right moves before the timer runs out.
Yeah, you got a little egg timer still in the box, even on the latest version.
Yeah, like a chess game. You know, you've got the little timer ticking. You're like, oh, I've got to make all my moves. What else? Who haven't I done? Oh my god, time's run out. It adds that pressure of, like, you feel like you're in the situation, which is quite cool.
But there have been small hints that they could be maybe maneuvering towards a Space Hulk anyway.
Yeah, the Biosigns Terminated one. If you look at the base scheme that they picked, it was a very interesting paint job on the base scheme. And it was painted up as a Blood Angel as well.
Yeah, you never know. It could be a thing. But then, yeah, like I say, the only other possibility for me is, and Warhammer Quest, I would imagine if it was that, they'd go back to the setting of 40k anyway. I'd also kind of love to see a Warhammer Quest in a Necromunda setting as well.
That would be very
awesome.
Cool. Equally, I'd like it if they did Warhammer Quest set in the old world. and if we went back to Classic Quest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know like Nick Baton's been painting up a full set of Classic Quest recently, and they did a
Well, yeah, they've been playing the campaign, haven't they?
Playing it through, exactly. But that's because he painted up a full set.
Yeah.
If they were to go back to Classic Quest and like, okay, so we've got a human barbarian, a dwarf, an elf ranger, and a wizard, and I'd be like, yes, okay, no. Here's my money.
What if these rumors are slightly off to do with Morehammer, and it's not actually Morehammer, it's just a fantasy setting for a new Warhammer Quest? That could also be a thing.
Again, it would be very much, here's my money. I'll just go over here. You know, just take what you want from my bank account, Games Workshop, and I'll just collect whatever you're handing out.
I mean, yeah, either way, if they announce a new Warhammer Quest, I'm in, because everybody knows, like, I've been playing through them for the last year or so with my housemates.
Yeah, you've been having loads of fun with that, haven't you?
Yeah, so if they announce a new Warhammer Quest, different setting, I'm going to be pretty pumped for that, to be honest.
Warhammer Quest, Secrets of the Imperial Palace. There you go.
Ooh, I like it. What about also
make your way to the
like you say about Old World? We've never had a heresy setting.
They get killed by custodians at the end
for Warhammer Quest either. That would be pretty crazy. But yeah, and then obviously in terms of this whole Mordheim rumor thing, and will we just get a new edition of Warcry? Will it just be rebooted and redone? Because I think that something's happening with that anyway. I think Warcry is. I hate that when people say a game's dead, but I mean, there's not been any hint of anything.
There's been no signs of life.
They've put all the Warcry resources into the new Man of War. Oh, Dreadfleet.
Yeah. But I mean, something's happening there. So there's either going to be a new edition of something around Warcry, or yeah, we're going to get a more specialist game.
It's going to be a new box of something, isn't there? We just don't know what.
Yeah. So I'll be excited to see what that is either way. And there's got to be something towards the end of this year, hasn't there? In terms of like a specialist game, I'd imagine.
You would think so, but you never know. They might skip it. Depends.
Maybe. It depends if they've got enough releases to cover it, I suppose.
New version of, I mean, I know we've got obviously Legions Imperialis, new version of Adeptus Titanicus, something we haven't mentioned.
Maybe.
I hope not. It's a pretty solid rule set, but
well,
you never know. Or it might be something proper random, like Shadows of Armageddon. You remember when they did that? And it was like, it was almost like a test for Necromunda, that.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a one-off game.
I've got the rulebook for that.
Yeah, and the great terrain in it, and then it vanished. Then a year later, it's like, hey, new Necromunda. Oh, by the way, there's the same terrain, pretty much. So you never know. Who knows what we've got up sleeve?
I can't remember what I was going to say now. It's fallen straight out of my head. But yeah, I'm not sure about a new Titanicus, especially in a year where we've had the Heresy release, and we've had a lot of Imperialist stuff earlier in the year. We've had the new Imperial Knight stuff. But I mean, maybe.
I'm not saying new models necessarily. I'm saying a new version of the rules.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. I don't know if enough people would want that or not. I don't know. I'll tell you what could happen. Mini Primarchs.
Mini Primarchs, just especially for you, Luke.
We have to say this every predictions episode, right? We have to.
Oh, okay. No, hang on a minute.
Conjure this into the world.
Maddest prediction ever: a Christmas advent calendar with a mini Primarch behind each door.
Oh,
you run out after 18, though.
Well, 19, because you'd have had Omegon and Alfarius would each have their own door.
Yeah.
If there's ever
you
been
have the Big E
like
and Malkador.
Yeah. And you have like Horus the Loyal and Horus the Traitor. Actually, you have 18 plus 4 Chaos Primarchs, the 4 Demon Primarchs. 23. Well, 23 if you've got Alfarius and Omegon as.
And then you used to have the Emperor.
It's 24th. Yeah. Sorted. We've designed it. There we go. Games Workshop. You can have that.
I was going to say, if there's ever been a clip I need to take out of one of these episodes, it is this, and just
Mini Primarch Advent
send
calendar.
an email every day
when you
to
open
GBuild
Demon
WST.
Angron's door. You get a paper cut, and it's blood for the blood god.
I'll just send GW 2 emails a day with this clip.
Mini Primarch Advent calendar. I would literally. I mean,
you could even do it as them little chibis things that they release. You know, the chibi Marines.
You could have little chibi Primarchs, but it would be cooler if it was Adeptus Titanicus, Legions Imperialis scale Primarchs. one behind each door. You could charge the earth for that, and people would
You could even
for it.
like mold it in chocolate as well.
Ah, chocolate Primark advent calendar.
Thing
Yeah,
is,
the,
I kind of
The
I kind
Mortarion
of want
one
that.
makes you sick.
I kind of want that, but I also would love to see, like, for Easter, some sort of Kinder Egg style theme release with the little Primarks inside them. How amazing would that be as well? Games Workshop, the most unusual team up ever with Kinder Egg. Mini Primarks. Imperialis Primarks. Choke on these, kids. No. But no, they've got to come eventually. You've got to do it, GW. Bring the Mini Primarks. But
Mini Primarks, but do it as an advent calendar, and then you can have like the rules. You tear the back off, and it's got the rules just drop out.
Yeah. But no, I think we've covered the board fairly well.
Well, you
guys.
could have-
Yeah, I
Doors
think
to
on
11.
that note, I don't think we can
You
top
could have doors 2 and 11, and you open it up, and there's just nothing there, and it says redacted. Oh, that's boring.
Let us know in the comments, viewers, how would you get Mini Primarks to the people? Let us know.
blind bags. Nope, that's not
Yes.
Yeah. Google mini boglins and then just apply the same marketing technique to mini Primarks.
I might have to set up a new sub channel on our Discord just called Mini Primarks, just for Mini Primark discussion. But anyway, I think we'll leave it there this week, guys, for this episode. That's it's always a fun one doing our predictions episode for the second half of the year, just see what we think's coming. And it's been good, great chatting to you guys as always. But saw you at the top this week. Where can people find you? And I noticed you put out a video about the Caradron earlier. So
Yeah, you can find me on my own channel, which is at Hobby Waffle on YouTube. I've just done a video about the new Caradron Overlords. It's been a while since my last video actually, so it was nice to get one out. And then also on Blue Sky, Instagram, and X. I said X instead of Twitter for a change. At Hobby Waffle, so that's where I'll be. Yeah. Oh, and on Discord, you find me on there as well.
no worries. And then Ben, where can we find you?
Find me over on my channel, 90% Geek, and I'm equally available over on the Discord and on Blue Sky and on Instagram. I'm not on X anymore because I've stopped doing that. But yeah, come and follow me over on Blue Sky in particular, and then you can vote for what I'm going to be painting during July.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Looking forward to seeing what pops up for those. And as for me, guys, Blue Sky and Instagram, mostly at the moment, follow me there and join us in our Discord channel to chat with us all over there about mini Primarks and whatnot. But other than that, also make sure, like I said at the beginning, make sure to follow the three of us on mostly Blue Sky Instagram, because we will be sharing around within probably the next week or two, ready for episode 50 of the Morehammer podcast, a prize giveaway. You can win a Spearhead or Combat Patrol of your choosing, ready for that. And on the 50th episode, we will reveal the winner on that. And it's free to enter. You just got to probably will be something like share around our posts on the socials and whatnot. And I think the first time we ever did it, we got people to comment on the episode of our choosing. So maybe we'll get you to come over to episode 50 and leave a comment or question or something.
Create a
We'll
fake
do something
account. Hello, I'm Armin Tanzarian.
like that. So yeah, we'll look forward to that, guys. So keep your eyes open for that. But otherwise, until next time, as always, happy wargaming. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.